How's everyone doing? Welcome to episode one of Illini Talk. I'm your host Cam Mars, and this will probably be about a weekly thing where I talk a little bit of Illini football. If there's some news there, of course, Illini basketball, and then maybe even just a little bit things about just the college sports landscape in general. There's so much happening, so much changing in college sports because we have obviously the transfer portal that's been around for a few years. We have NIL that is brand new, and every single day there's something new happening with the way we see recruiting, the way we see transferring. It's essentially free agency where you have kids who say, "Hey, I had a great year. I was a three-star recruit, and let's say I went to this low power five school, and I was all freshman, all American, I was all conference, I was these things, and well, now my value is high. There's one-time transfer eligibility, so I'm going to go and enter the portal. Not only can I land at a high power five school, but on top of that, I can probably get some NIL money at this bigger school, which is more than what I'll probably get if I was at this school. So a lot of things changing like in that world is different than what I grew up watching, which is probably what you grew up watching. Just a totally different game where you have to transfer back in my day. Similar, I actually transferred. I transferred a division down just because I transferred a division down just so I wouldn't have to sit out a year and lose that year. Because it wasn't like, oh, you sit out this year, it's a red shirt, you're technically no, it would still be a year wasted. So that's why I transferred down. So it's totally different now where you can stay on that same level and not use a year, not lose a year and play right away. But that's that. That's what's going different, and that's that, and the whole overarching thing in the NCAA. But to specify and talk about our fight in Atlanta, well, my fight in Atlanta. Start with the football front. So of course we had not a great season, but we had a better season than we've had in years past. I think I think a lot of fans feel more confident in what we have going on now with Coach Bilma than what we did having on with Coach Smith. And that's no disrespect to Levy, who is a great coach. It's just totally different. It's just a totally different feel. We have more confidence. The team looks better. The job that Ryan Walters did on the defense is just incredible. He took a player that was kind of an afterthought in Kirby Joseph, and I think last year Kirby played some receiver. Of course, he's always been a special teams guy. Still played a little safety, but Ryan Walters took him and turned him into probably the best safety in the Big Ten last year. Like the best safety in the Big Ten last year was Kirby Joseph, which is someone that told me that a year ago I wouldn't believe him. But he had a great season, had 5 picks, and then 3 other takeaways, so 8 total takeaways. Stepped in that Virginia game and just kind of claimed the spot, and he was able to parlay that into an early entrant into the NFL draft. And some say he'll probably be a top 100 pick. So that's amazing for him. Keith Randolph, Johnny Newton took that step forward. Devon Weatherspoon started to look more at the corner that I thought he could be. Really aggressive. Step in for run support. Coverage was good. Definitely our best cover corner. TA Tony Adams had a slow start of the season, slowly puts together. Sidney Brown as that box safety, as that guy toying with the quarterback, as a guy that can just fake a blitz and then drop back in coverage where he can just fly around and throw his body around. I think he fits that well. We saw Kagan Tosin step up. That was a surprise entry to the draft, but good luck to him. And we have Tariq Barnes, who I think is a fantastic blitzer. If you will go back and film and watch those games, like the way he blitzed, especially that Penn State game, help set the tone early against Penn State with the way Barnes blitzed. So he's back for another year. CJ Hart, who will hopefully see for a full season. He flashed so much against Nebraska last year in that first game, but unfortunately got hurt at the end of that game. So he'll be back fully healthy. The other corner is a question. Maybe they'll put Taz Nicholson there. Maybe you'll get a Daniel Edwards or a Tyler Strain to step up, or maybe one of those guys can go play nickel. And then maybe a transfer as well. And that other safety where Kirby was at, I think you may put Quan there. If not, you leave Quan at nickel, and then you go ahead and put maybe you put a Keontae Curry or a Prince Green or a Joriel Washington if they make that step for workouts and spring ball. You could put those guys in there, or you can go ahead and reach to the portal and get some veteran help. I think Coach Walker's he's earned our trust, so we'll see what he does. Also, real quick on the edge, I think you'll see a Seth Coleman. Maybe he's at one end, and then Bryant on the other to give you that same body type of feel that we had with Isaiah Gay and also with Owen Carney last year. And then really quick, I didn't expect to go into an overview of the Illini football roster. But it's really quick here. Um, I'll go ahead and speak. There's been like I said, a lot of transfers, a lot of bodies entering the portal. A lot of receivers. I think there's been 7 receivers from the Illini team that's entered the portal already. I know Marquez Beeson left earlier in the season. We Desmond Dan entered the portal. Um, Delvon Campbell's in the portal. Carlos Sandy's in the portal. Donnie Navarro's in the portal. Uh, so I'm not gonna name all the receivers, but those are a lot of guys that are in the portal. James Frenchie left. Was that early summer? He's in the portal. Kyron Cumby left. So there's a lot of players that were on the roster this day last year that are not on the roster now at that receiver position. And the best of luck to all those guys. I'm pretty sure they're all good kids. Some of those guys helped us a lot. Excuse me, Donnie Navarro helped us a lot, especially that bowl season in 2019. He helped us a lot. Marquez Beeson, um, his impact wasn't felt on the field, but for what he represented at that time and the attention and the energy he brought to the program when it was flat and they needed it, and he went ahead and top 100 recruit, pledged to Lovie Smith. For the class of 2019, that was a big deal at that time. I know you diehard fans remember that was a big deal. We thought that was going to be the start of something to get us up on top. So kudos to him. I wish him the best of luck. The injuries just really killed his momentum because they said he was going to be a great DB coming into that first fall camp he had. So it's really unfortunate for him. I wish him the best of luck down at Alabama A&M. But yeah, so we've seen a lot of bodies at that receiver position going to the portal. And so, like I said, not a lot of those players made impacts besides really Donnie Navarro. Campbell had a lot of potential, just never put it all together. But with that being said, we do need more impact. We need impact bodies, impact players at that position. We don't need. I'm not saying we need a superstar that would help, but we need guys that can provide quality depth, quality depth at that receiver position is what we're looking for. Because right now I think we have Casey Washington, who came on, who came on a lot at the end of last year. Isaiah Williams, who's a superstar, and then we have Pat Bryant, who flashed a little bit as a freshman. So those are the returning guys who caught a pass last year. I hope Brian Hightower gets healthy because I think when he's healthy, he is that big physical target to have on the outside that we need. He's not a burner, but he's a big body possession receiver and can be that guy in the red zone that we can go to, especially with the loss of Daniel Barker. So that would be big. So and then we have Sean Miller coming in, highly ranked guy out of IMG. If he can step in and be a good piece, that'll help a lot. Hank Beatty, if he can step in and be a good piece, that'll help a lot. I'm not sure about Ashton Hollins and Ian Pugh. Those guys have a lot of potential, tall, long receivers, but they're just really, really thin right now, and it's kind of hard to be in the Big Ten at 170 pounds, especially when you have to run block. It's gonna be really tough for those guys. So hopefully that all works out. But I would say that the transfers we lost at the receiver position is nothing to panic about. I see guys panicking on the internet now, on the boards now, saying, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" It's not that big of a deal. We want to get some more bodies in, and I hope we do. I don't know who the staff is going to target, but you have a Taj Harris out there from Syracuse, who was Donnie. I just want to call him Donnie DeVito, who was Tommy DeVito's number one target a few years ago. Matter of fact, DeVito's best season was with Taj Harris being the number one target. He hasn't signed anywhere yet. I read and heard that there may be some academic issues there. I'm not sure if we can pull a few strings or whatever needs to be done to get him back. To get him into school. But that is that impact player that we can have that can line up outside. Put him with Hightower. Put him with Hightower. You put him with Casey Washington. You put him with one. You know what I'm saying? And that's elite. So I think this year with the new offense with Barry Lunny, Tony Peterson and Fire will open up more. I want to see the ball in Isaiah's hands a lot more. Whenever he touched the ball, good things happen. We have a player like that. He's a different type of guy. And when you have different type of guys, you have to get those guys the ball as much as possible. So hopefully that happens. So with that being said, to wrap up on the football piece, like I said, a lot of bodies at the receiver position. Don't panic. Trust the staff. Believe that they're going to go ahead and do something that will help us. That'll help us in the long run. Target those guys. We target one more outside guy like a Taj Harris who can stretch the field. We don't have that stretch the field guy. Deuce Spann would have been that stretch the field guy. Unfortunately, he transferred to Florida State, and I think that, and I'm sorry, that's the one person, that's the one guy that left that probably hurts a little bit, and he left before the offensive coordinator change. And I think that maybe if Lunny, I feel like if Lunny was in position, was the OC before then, there's a chance we may have still had Deuce Spann because Tony Peterson couldn't find ways to get those game breakers the ball. So we need someone to come in and stretch the field next year. Maybe Taj Harris can be that guy. Maybe someone hits the portal spring ball. Maybe someone hits the portal next month. These things are the portal is fluid. Recruiting is fluid, but the portal is even more fluid. So hopefully we get some guys that can go ahead and help us in that aspect. And then so to transition over to basketball, I'm currently recording this at 12:59 on Tuesday. Is January 25th. So we play Michigan State tonight. Michigan State tonight at 6. I have no word if Kofi's going to play tonight. I don't know if he's going to play. I hope he is. For those of you who don't know, he's out. Concussion protocol. He missed the game against Maryland, and his impact was sorely missed. We missed his impact, and we saw that the first Maryland game when Kofi got into foul trouble, and we didn't have him, and that was the issue. Illinois couldn't. They couldn't get into they couldn't get into an offensive flow without having him. The gravity, like people say, yo, you need floor spacers. Kofi's a floor spacer in college basketball because no one can guard him one-on-one. And the gravitational pull that people have to come double him, which leaves a Plummer open, which leaves a Trent open, which leaves a Jake open, which leaves a DeMonte open. And not having him means that you don't have to tag off of the shooters. And now Plummer has no space. It doesn't matter to Plummer because Plummer's an amazing shooter. But I would like it if Plummer's wide open, or if Trent's wide open. And you don't have that without Kofi. And that was felt the Maryland game, on the Maryland game that just passed. And also on defense, that was felt as well. With all due respect to Boston Verdon, all due respect to Omar Payne, not having that guy, not having Kofi, it made Maryland players feel like they can go drive the ball, and they were able to drive the ball a lot of times. Also, this isn't a Kofi thing, but it's just a thing in general that we have to clean up. And I don't know if this can get cleaned up this year. Is when you have a 4 guy like Maryland has Dante Scott. When they have a guy like that, who do we have that can match up with him? I don't know who can match up with the Dante Scott on our roster. DeMonte tries his hardest, but he's 6'3". Dante Scott's 6'8". So like we don't have a guy we don't have a guy that can fit in that situation, and that kills us a lot when we don't have something like that. So those are things that's something that we need to clean up going into the game, or we can try to clean up. Maybe you put a Coleman Hawkins on him for a second, and then come back with DeMonte. I don't know, give him different looks. Try to flex them, maybe double. That's something that Brad doesn't do. He hasn't had to double a lot because our defensive efficiency has been top notch. But games when it's not, we have to double. Against Purdue, when Kofi was on the bench for foul trouble, we can't let Edey go one-on-one with Boston Verdon. You can't let Edey go one-on-one with Omar Payne. You can't have that. You have to double. And Dante Scott should have been double, because Dante Scott got whatever he wanted when Maryland played. It's whatever he wanted, and that's an issue. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today against Michigan State. And this is a game that's been on the schedule, and it scared me since the schedule has come out. I've been afraid of this game. It wouldn't matter if we were undefeated right now, number 1 team in the country. This game has always scared me, for the simple fact that Michigan State has not been a good matchup. With us, other than the year when Io and Georgie were freshmen, and we were able to get up under Cassius Winston and make him turnover. I think he fouled out that game as well. Other than that, it has not been a good matchup because they have size and length. And the one thing that we don't have on the wing and at the 4 spot is size and length. And I look at their lineup and I think, okay, how do we guard Max Christie? How do we guard Gabe Brown? How do we guard Malik Hall? How do we guard their 2, 3, and 4? How do we guard those guys? What bodies do we put at these guys? Like what do we do? I mean, because if you put DeMonte on Gabe Brown's 6'7", 6'8". You put Jake on a Malik Hall. He's bigger than him mass wise. He might be a little bit taller. And Plummer's a defensive liability. As well as Plummer can shoot, he's a defensive liability. I would not want him chasing Max Christie off of screens. That just doesn't work for us. And then even with that, the depth that they have in big man. If Kofi plays today, great, amazing. That gives us a great chance. But they can throw so many bodies at Kofi. You start off with Bingham, who's a little light in the butt. He's a little light in the butt, but he's long. I think at 7'5", 7'6" wingspan. Amazing shot blocker. Then they can throw in Marble, who's sturdy, who has the strength to stay with Kofi. And then they have Matty Sissoko, which Illinois fans, we hate that guy. But good player. A good defender. So they have 3 different bigs that they can throw at Kofi throughout the game. And we don't have that same type of depth at our big man spot. So that kind of worries me as well. And Michigan State is just a tough team that's going to get in our face. And if Curbelo isn't right today, we're going to have a problem getting into our offensive flow. If Kofi doesn't play and Bello isn't right, it's 2 problems that I'm not sure we can overcome. I'm not sure we can overcome. So what's important for us today in this game is to 1, get Kofi, and 2, when Curbelo is in the game, don't ask him to do too much. Don't ask him to do too much. Set the offense up. If you have a lane to drive, penetrate, kick it out. You can trust your guys. You can trust your guys. We have scores. We have shooting on this team. So just trust your guys, and we'll have a chance. And then you do play defense, communicate. Don't get don't get back screened. Communicate. Let everybody know. And if you funnel guys in, funnel them in Kofi. Kofi plays smart. This is not a game where you can get in foul trouble. This is a game where if we can win, we have to hop on it right away. We have to hop on it right away, and we don't want it to get close. We don't want to get into a grinded out, close game with Michigan State. Okay, we need to come out shooting hot and try to run away with it early. So, like I said, I don't think we're gonna win. This game has scared me for reasons I've stated. But obviously, I'm always going to root for Illini W. And it's your boy Cam Mars. I'm out. I'll be watching the game tonight. I might come back in during halftime to talk about it a little bit more. And then also a post-game, a little breakdown. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. God bless.